Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Field of Glory Empires as Rome. I don't think we're going to finish the game in this part, but we should be setting up basically for what will be the last war, which is the war against... last important war, which is going to be the war against Macedonia again. Well, there's going to be a couple things we're going to be doing. We got an objective on them, so we want the objective. Don't know the diplomacy state of Byzantium relative to Macedonia. They're in full alliance with Macedonia. Okay, so if we declare war on Macedonia, we'll be at war with these guys. Which, to be fair to these guys, is just a really bad day because we want their stuff. Why is the... Let's have a treaty outbound. Or near the roads. Because our only option is war. No, we don't declare war on roads. We did inherit someone else's black market over here in Laconia. Rare slaves. So that's possibly where a lot of the slaves are coming from. There's where the Hispanic exotic slaves came from, yeah. Okay, so most of the troops should have long-distance orders to get out to where they need to be anyway. So we just need to command sort of the smaller units, construction units, get them being productive. Interesting. Kind of want to move it to there, but we obviously can't move it to there right now, given that there's a blizzard in that state. Okay, well, we'll not move him because we know where we want him to go, but he can't go there yet because of blizzard. Blizzard being a blizzard. $42 money from the dyeing mill. I was thinking about it in Palisades, but 42 money is just good enough that I'm going to take it. We'll take the training ground. There's a place where we're going to build. Oh, apparently we've already got everyone assigned to building there, but yeah, plus 14 more. And this should actually be our biggest food producer, so I'd actually like to leave those guys on food. Two turns for the dyeing mill. No, we want to go a little bit faster because we're gonna... Well, we can probably get it done if we get more production, right? Okay, so that'll finish the dyeing mill. Then we'll have a replacement in the training ground location. Coinmaker with gold and copper would be better with silver, but 42 money is 42 money. That's good enough. Here's the palace. I don't remember if we got a great arsenal. The palace region is probably the region where I am most likely to want to use the metal reduction cost. It's probably the most likely region where I'm going to actually be building troops. I suppose to accelerate growth, we could also toss a slave market in the capital. I'm not going to do it right now. I think we are going to take the upgrade here. Even though this is technically money negative, I think it'll be good. Okay, then on to the next province, because apparently that's enough to build everything there. Yeah, that's just about enough to build everything there. Gambling arena would actually result in less money. We don't need the loyalty right now. Fishery, we got other places you can import the fish from, so that's less important. We just had damage received from the raid. Right, well, that was 4 turns ago. But yeah, digging in the fortifications more so we take less damage from the raids is not a bad idea. Temple, slated to finish next turn. 2 open slots. We'll grab the crafting district as much as the street power is tempting. Another surplus. 55. Over. So like growth a little bit more. 1 and a 1. Be basically 35 money production building. Brickworks. Brickworks allow us to get to regional roads, which will help us with importing. As well as troops moving around. So yeah, clothing manufacturer is a level 2 commerce building, so the one place where we're looking earlier, we need the clothing manufacturer. Where we need the clothing manufacturer, we need to get level 2 commerce. And I do believe it needs the crafting district. So we have the crafting district here. Warehouse or go to that clothing district? We'll do the clothing district. It is a 38 money building. And the clothing one's the only one that's going to take 2 turns, so I think we'll be happy with that construction balance versus farming balance. Irrigation canals. 17 food. Produces papyrus. Maybe don't need it right now. Yeah, we'll delay it a little bit because we do want the land expansion. But yeah, definitely a interesting thing to build in the near future for that location. Well, let's get some food. We are trying to grow the region, so extra growth is not bad from food production going up. Enemy. Little gardens and something else. Builder's roll for faster construction, maybe? Once we both finish in 1 turn. 1 open slot here. Okay, so the military school is an available build here. Yeah, we don't need any more infrastructure buildings. Mill would produce a decent amount of food. But I'm thinking I'm tempting. I think I'm doing the reroll to try to fish for military academy, military school, great military school. In theory, all available structures. Yeah. Obviously, for fishing, we don't need this much infrastructure. I think we need a net positive 1 to do the reroll. So that will work. 2 and a 4. We'll still grab that culture crafting district. So that was also the 4 one, so that was going to be building and building and building. Probably over-investing a little bit infrastructure-wise, but that'll be fine. We grab the crafting district. 1, 5, and a 1. So we got one place that's got a lot to build. Decent trading tents. We get even better once the Just Conquered goes away. Yeah, we'll give in and give it this the oil mill. And then the 5. We got the farm here. Not sure if we're going to be able to upgrade the farm density, but this is definitely a reasonable place for a granary and a well. Like a sort of food province for the area. So let's do that. So the religious cult wants pleasure house. Something I wouldn't normally build. But if it's asking for it, we'll give it to it. So that we're gonna go move the army over there and camp it for a bit. That's the cataphract one. We're not rushed for the cataphracts. We got no walls here, so we'll build the palisades out. 1 and a 1. Extreme weather. So this is the clothing manufacturer location. Want the crafting district. Usually I don't go to the Ushura here, which is a 15 commerce bonus. But I am tempted to do it here. Because that would allow us to get quicker into Tier 2 to get the clothing manufacturer done. Yeah. Iron mine. Decent trading post. Though we'll go with the theater to get access to Tier 3. Culture buildings. Nothing to build there. Back to growing as fast as possible. And the reward for growing as fast as possible, 4 building slots all at once. We'll take that builder hole. It's 5 even before we assign people to expanding construction. A large farm, sure. And this produces grain, so this makes all the nearby grain-affected buildings better. Builder's Hall. I don't think this is a place where we want to build. The provincial here is a medium calf. Yeah. We don't want to build a cataphracta here either. It's being a little bit pushy with that national wonder, to be fair. Really wants me to have it for some reason. Delicacy shop honey. If we were looking for commerce buildings, that wouldn't be bad. I think we're gonna go to the temple though. Nothing to build here. Okay, how much are we short? 11. So we'll move a couple of these guys over. Because, well, cost of 4 food to get 12 infrastructure to cover us it there is perfectly fine. Work on the military academy in a 1 and a 1. Want to fill those 1s. That's a decent tavern. We've seen better, but that's because we've had other commerce buildings to kick off of it. Though that's a better market. We'll do the market because that gives access to tier 2 commerce. Mine. No, we're gonna upgrade the wall. Okay, so that'll get the military academy done and the market done, and the wall will actually be the thing that is not done there. 2 building slots. We are searching for being able to upgrade the irrigation system, so the granary is not a bad choice. Okay. 1 open building slot. Grab the tribune. Increase production a little bit, get those built faster. Next one. Oh, that's all the way around. Okay, so we're on to the looses. On to the loose ones. You're a loose one. Builder hall or weaver shop. We're going to weaver shop for the money. Not that we're desperate for money. Ooh, this is a cotton one. So we're getting all the bonuses there, so that's a good spinning mill. Let's take the furnace. That'll give us the 3 we need to get access to the tier 2s. It would be even better for us cotton because we can import the cotton. We'll definitely go to school then. And that's us, been all the way around. Okay, so unless we got some really interesting decisions, don't. Cycle my turn. I think we're going to play this part out long enough to get all the troops to their staging areas for the war. See, a couple of units already vaguely in position. And we're still in the progressing tier, which is good to see. We still have twice the score of Macedonia, which is good to see. Here we go. So they are now also my client state. I think we need their opinion to be up to 50 to be absorbed. Yeah. So let's offer gifts to the client states we're potentially interested in absorbing, so we can try to get their opinions up quicker. No, we're gonna skip that. Okay. 2-1. You're 1-1. You're 1-1. I'm gonna decide which ones I'm most interested in trying to upgrade. You're 1-1. Maybe the answer is just not worried about them. 1-1s are good enough. If we have any casualties, we'll probably upgrade one of them. Okay. Yeah, still at least one more turn. Most of the troops have got just general assignments that'll work fairly well. We can just stay there with the more. Fine. Okay. And then we know where we want you to go. We wanted you to go there. You couldn't go there last turn because of the blizzards. But that's passed. Okay, I think then we're going around to our troops. Or going around to our provinces and doing anything that needs to be built. The Circus Maximus. +1 legacy for 2 decadence, which will work out over the 10 turn average to be like 20 decadence. So it's quite a bit of decadence. But it's providing 22 culture, so it's not that bad. Provides 82 money. And for this province only, or for that territory only, it provides 60 loyalty. So I'm mainly doing it for the legacy, the money. The decadence culture is a bit of a wash. But legacy. Almost there with the culture in that one. Still food positive? Yes. Okay. 1 and 1. We'll take the Watchtower because it's just a 0 slot. That will improve the military expertise. What are we looking for improving capital-wise? Don't need loyalty right now. Obviously, the Circus Maximus, which is on that list, is going to disappear after we build it, because that's a world wonder. Oh, the Noble Gardens would be pretty good. The Academy would be pretty good. Yeah, I think we're going to do a reroll because I think we got better choices for this slot. So the Dying Mill is 42 money plus 2 nearby buildings gets 12 more, so it's actually like a 60. Okay, we'll do the Dying Mill then. Very tempted just to do a reroll there. And we need a whole lot less production. Yeah. What do we need? We need 140. So we only need like 280 across the thing. So we got another 50 we can free up. Move over from infrastructure to food. There we go. Thinking re-rolling here. Yep. I suppose here we're looking for the warehouse, the bridge, and the marble vein. Charcoal pile isn't really that interesting, because we really don't need that metal. And the woodcutting isn't really interesting, because we're importing it already with the land expansion. Yeah, I think we're just re-rolling that whole province. Which means we need a lot less construction available. We can get a lot more slots, I suppose. Just growing. There we go. Granted, we combo well off of food from other places, but that's still decent. Probably want a better trading house. Because we only got the amber here. We don't want like furs, ivory, or wild beasts or something to go with it. We'll do granary. Cotton. One that we can. Cotton can be imported, so this is. Oh, interesting. So I technically don't have cotton in trade range here. But it still makes 32 money because it's got the bonus from wool and bonus from flax. It's a base money building. And cotton's also not that expensive. So paying triple cost for cotton's not that bad. Yeah, we'll do the spinning cotton then. If the trade range ever gets long enough to get to copper, then it'll be very profitable. How short are we on the spinning? Another 34, so it's about 100 more. Because of the divide by 3 effect going on there. Yeah, probably did it. Yeah. 2 open slots. That wouldn't be a bad bank. This is a place that really isn't penalized commerce-wise, I suppose. Apparently this is also a pretty good place for health with that dam. We have the salt house and the sanitation. That gives us the ability to roll public sewers to turn the sanitation into a free slot. Yeah. Two open slots. Crafting district. Make it a little bit harder to roll very specific things, but we're not really too worried about rolling those specific things. Okay. That's fine. Let's balance for the moment. 1 and a 2. Six nearby buildings would benefit from the wax. Okay. We'll do the wax then. I think those are all the scriptoriums in the area. This is a place that might actually eventually benefit from the M4 fabricator. We got the 6 agricultural buildings, yeah. So we did the M4 fabricator, try to roll canals, and then we're basically rolling upgrades mostly. Okay. Not exactly the order we want them built in. You probably want the canals and the farm upgrades before you build the fabricator, but it'll be fine. Could grab the potter. Yeah, it's probably the... Out of these we want to build, it's probably the potter. So we're kind of holding off on the Master Herbalist here until we get a good place to get culture off of it. Because we don't need it for the health anywhere. Weigh carefully the choice of not building the structure. Yeah, it's a rare proposal, but it's also where you're getting the drugs and herbs from. And then even in a scenario where you get the drugs and herbs like we are here, it's only like 2 health, 5 manpower. Unless you're having manpower issues, there's a large nation like us, it wouldn't be. It's not super great. Yeah, we'll grab the barracks there. One open slot. And we're gonna do a reroll again. Yeah. 2 and a 4. Delicacy, nuts. Trading required. Okay, so it's popping the nuts out of thin air. But we do have the honey and the figs, which makes it decent. Because again, nuts are reasonably cheap. Yeah, we're not that desperate for okay money culture building. Take the 0 slot upgrade for the walls. No, 0 additional slot upgrade for the walls. And we'll upgrade the barracks. It's got stuff going. Only one place to build here, but it's got 4 things to build, so we're going to build real quick. Weaver's got decent value. Looks like we're building a pretty decent farm location here, so the orchard wouldn't be bad. Good combo well off of the irrigation canal. And if we can get some of the neighbor bonuses, it will also be real good. Oh, it'll also be even better. Because it's a base of 5 plus 5 per bonus. I think technically to show up you need to have one of the bonuses, so it's a waste of 10 at least. Grab the salt house here. And a 1 and a 1. Grab the cult site for extra conversions. It'll actually be income down because of the perfume being out of range. Harem shop's not bad. This is the place where we're trying to get up quickly to clothing manufacturer. Making reroll here because we need. Well, we don't need all the slots, but we basically want at least one of the 2 slots remaining for the clothing manufacturer. And then the other one we want for the crafting district, which is the prerequisite for it. So I think we're just going to reroll until we get crafting district. I suppose means in the meantime we got more than enough infrastructure to focus food. Four and a 4. Preceptor house. We can get papyrus, though. It's coming from Egypt. Physician house, preserved food stuff, and gymnasium. I'm not actually all that interested in those health buildings. Go to the theater. 3 building slots. So assuming we're getting decent buildings, we'll be building quite a bit. Yeah, building up the walls is a decent building. Scriptorum. Require 125 construction. So we need 7 more from elsewhere in the state. There we go. Auditorium and temple both get finished next turn. Looks good. Nothing to build there. We're building the large walls here. Which is more than enough going to finish. Okay. Try to slow the production down a little bit to get food coming in of it. That's about right. Open slot here. Core if we needed stone, but we don't really need the stone. Probably more interested in the brickworks. Or the warehouse with the builder hole to improve the infrastructure here. Given that, I think we're just going to go ahead and do the reroll here, in which case we don't need people on the infrastructure at the moment there. 24, 2 slots. The stable master. We want cavalry and heavy cavalry, as well as thoroughbred mounts. So I think the problem with that is, and the reason we might not build it, is we probably want that in the province we're going to be building cavalry, which is not here. We also have the nice Thracian warband, which are medium mountain men. +1 attack and defense bonus in mountains. Makes them about as good as heavy infantry are in the open in the mountains. Yeah, I think we're going to skip on that because it's not what we're looking for. Do another reroll here. Everything's building there. In fact, we get a little bit more on building. Okay, they're running a little loose. The cotton mill. Trading required. Again, decent because it's getting all the bonuses. Even if we're paying through the nose for the cotton. Oh, because we have the reserved food stuff, so we can get the logistics depot here. No, we don't really need the free army supply, so not gonna bother. The gold mine. Pretty profitable gold mine. Okay, that's all the free provinces. All the loose provinces. So with no decisions, we're gonna advance the turn, watch our armies get closer to where they're supposed to be. That was a little bit more effective getting the troops into position than I was expecting. Not going to complain too much about that. That's just a good thing. So with that, I might actually go ahead and decide that's where we're going to put the part break in. Ending the stream. So Rhodes is now up to 50 opinion of us. So we could try to absorb them. Oh, that's expensive. Yeah, that's just expensive. Rhodes is like, nah, we're worth your everything. Right, we're minus 400 bargaining points, giving them like the entire treasury, the entire man purple, the entire metal pool, some African war elephants. Yeah, we don't want Rhodes that badly. Kea is also in the same sort of boat. Yeah, disappear. And that's a 5,001, so again, that's, they want the everything treatment. Oops. We give them all our money, all our metal, all the manpower, give them the African war elephants, and even then, no, not happening. Well, we know their prices, and the answer is more than we have. Okay, so we do have one last stack coming in. For all the war objectives I'm looking at, I don't think we need the stack specifically. I think that's the one that's going to be doing the naval invasions up there. So maybe assuming that it isn't going there, instead it's going like there. As the fleet that's in port does the same movement. Wouldn't be too hard. So with that, I think we are going to go invade Macedonia in the next part. So I do not forget, we're going to do what we did last time, which is I'm going to press the we're going to war button before we end the part. And then, because it's the end of stream, I'm going to do a once-over on the legacy. So, progress and decline, we're up to a ratio of 1.8. It's probably one of the reasons why we're pretty solidly in the progressing tier. I tend to find to be aiming for a ratio of like 2 plus gets you pretty solidly always in the progressing tier, at least against AI. You somehow played a game where everyone is human. Oh, that would be complicated. Against the AI, usually aiming for 2 is not very bad. Legacy, most of our points are actually coming from culture. We have 14 regions providing 3, 52 providing 2, 69 providing 1. Government, basically I think everyone who's a tier 3 glorious government gets 27 points. We have 32 legacy producing buildings. Apparently we have like the Great Stone Quarry or something in Atticus. Atticus. What's the what is the Great Stone Quarry? What's the... It's saying quarry. Stone quarry. I don't think it's that. That's something that's providing... Oh, yeah, okay. That one. This is, that wonder. Yeah. That's the ruined Temple of Artemis, I think? Or is it the Parthenon? It's one of the two. It's the stone quarry. But yeah, we're definitely getting most of our culture is coming from, or most of our legacy is coming from culture at this point. Stockpiling culture. As far as the rate that we're earning all the stuff, we're now up to 400 income of legacy, which, as you can see, is well more than 3 times everyone else's income. In fact, at this point, it is now what, for 16 times Macedonia's income. So we're definitely moving towards winning. At this point, we're moving towards winning well before turn 500, where we'd be getting given the default win by having the most. Because we're going to have 3 times as much fairly quickly at this rate. I suppose I can even go ahead and do the math at this point. Give us a slightly better estimate of when it's going to occur. Three, 2, 9. Yeah, so we're about 25, 26 turns out in the future we will win. And that's without even starting a war with Macedonia. If we start a war with Macedonia and chop that income down even more, because again, they're getting most of theirs. Well, they're getting less from government. They go into declining or something? They're getting less from government, they're getting less from regions. Let me see. What is their government type? Old age, so they've fallen into old age. That's not good for them. Emperor has supreme power over the nation. Yeah, so they got a 10% loyalty penalty, infrastructure, manpower, commerce, all this law. And that war with Dacia, Sarmatia, Alania, and we're going to be declaring on them as well. Yeah, we'll see how long they hold out. Yeah, we're definitely on the winning path. We're going to win 25 to 26 turns. Even faster if Macedonia stops gaining legacy, or worse, starts losing it because we start kicking out of them. But yeah, hope you've been enjoying. If you're watching on YouTube, there'll probably be a part up tomorrow. I believe at this point we're currently recorded at 6 parts ahead. So that, with us currently still being on a 4-day recording session, that technically gives me 2 days of leeway to get the next recording session started. So you can probably expect that to be a part up for you tomorrow if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, we're running on a 4-game streaming/recording session cycle. So today was Field of Glory Empires. Tomorrow is going to be Victoria 3. Day after that is going to be the Long Dark. Day after that is going to be Terraformers. I think we're going to go try the Blue Path next time. And then the day after that will be the Return of the Field of Glory Empires here, where we're going to be starting this war against Macedonia. And I suspect we're at least going to get our objectives here. So the Byzantium objective, Thracian objective are going to get grabbed really quickly. We'll probably very quickly bring that place under control and this place under control. So we're basically going to control the Bosphorus, probably very early on in the next stream. The question is, are we going to push out to the areas out here? What are we going to do about the one in Anatolia? I don't know. I don't know. And we also got to see how, because they're in the old age tier. So in theory, the other Daodochi will be taking stuff off of them. I say as I come over and see Parthia where the solution's to be. So we're going to send it in Parthia. So Ptolemaic Egypt could technically take some stuff off of them. We'll see if any stuff starts defecting to Ptolemaic Egypt. Oh, Ptolemaic Egypt has already had a civil war. Okay, so that's why. Well, they managed to put it back together, which is good to see. Well, I say good to see. It's not in our benefit that they're putting it back together. We want them to collapse, but... yeah, we'll see how things go. So, until next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now.